Hello, I'm Laura. Welcome back to the sewing room, and I've completely rearranged the room today to show you tips about how to hold your fabric. I see this a lot with my beginning students. They are really clinging on for dear life, and that's not necessary. The sewing machine should and could and will do the work for you. I'll show you how. If I were being really picky, I would say you could divide the workspace of your sewing machine into 3 areas. We've got green, which is all this area back here, from basically the front of the machine to wherever you're sitting. Yellow, which is the area right around where the needle is, and red, which is any place behind the needle. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen people sewing like this, or maybe even like this, and it's not great for a couple of reasons. It's bad for your posture and your back because you have to hunch over and reach really far. But it's also not great for the sewing machine, and it's also not even all that great for your sewing project, because think about it this way. Anything that happens to the fabric behind the needle can't affect how the stitch goes in because the needle already made the stitch. It's done. If you pull on it now, all you're going to do is possibly bend the needle and potentially either break the needle or damage the machine, which we don't want. So this is about letting go. The machine is made with these little guys. I'll do some close-ups soon. They're called feed dogs, and they're designed to pull the fabric forward. Now, I said anything basically from the machine, or we could say from here forward, here toward you, is a green area. You want to have your hands in there. Anything really close to the needle, I consider yellow, because I don't want to sew over my finger. First of all, I have these 2 pieces of fabric cut to the same size and length, and I'm going to start a little bit behind the needle, and I'm going to change the camera angle so you can actually see what I'm doing. Alright, the name of the game here is feed it. Don't force it. So I'm lining up. I'm starting just a little bit in front of my needle. I'm going to hang on to my thread tails. Take a couple stitches, and then I can let go. And now my left hand can kind of steer this way if it needs to, and then my right hand is keeping an eye on this area. As you're sewing, sometimes the bottom layer will feed faster than the top layer. If that seems to be happening to you, easy way to fix that is to just grasp your fabric firmly and double it back on itself like that. And as you get up to the needle, you want to flip it back down and let go. Okay, showing you that again a little closer. Here's the piece I just did where I didn't kind of do that special technique. I'll do another one where I am. Once I have that established, I don't really have to touch the fabric very much at all, but what I am doing is I'm folding it over on itself, over my thumb, over my right thumb, and then so my left hand is steering and my right hand is just holding the fabric. You can see those layers are perfectly matched up. Here isn't not bad. Honestly, that's so small that could be a cutting error, but pretty sure it's not. Pretty sure one side just went through a little faster than the other. One layer went through it a little faster than the other. And even on this pretty short piece with a relatively stable, this is a cotton poly fabric, that change in technique did help. If your machine is not built into a table, so if you're sewing on a tabletop like this, you can see that your fabric has to kind of climb a hill before it can actually be sewn, so you'll want to be extra careful to counteract that. Also, this is made even worse if you've set up the machine for free arm like this, so now you have almost no runway before your rubber hits the road, so to speak, under the needle. I'm going to turn off the machine and take off the foot to let you get a closer look at why this is happening. Remember, we are feeding into the machine, not forcing it, because the thing that is designed to actually, I wonder if I turn it on, can you see better? Yeah, okay, on is better. Or, aha, even better. These little guys are the feed dogs. And if I turn the hand wheel, you can see they move too. They move kind of up and down. And in this case, since I have the machine set in this direction, they're going to move from the forward to the back. Now, top layer of the fabric is only against the bottom of the foot, which is still, and the bottom layer of the fabric is pressed against the feed dogs. Most of the time, we don't notice if the two layers are moving at slightly different speeds, but sometimes we do. And the first line of defense against that is the technique I just showed you with your hands. But there are a couple other techniques you can do too if that's not working well enough. A walking foot, sometimes called an even feed foot, generally looks like this. And we're out of focus. We can do better than that. There we go. This is a walking foot or an even feed foot. Some people even call it a quilting foot because they're used a lot by quilters. And what you might notice if you look is it has essentially feed dogs of its own. So this sits against the top layer and works with the feed dogs of the sewing machine to make sure that all of the layers are in focus. Sorry, I must be really close to my limit here. Let's try. Let's do that. There we go. And this is great. It's especially important if you have thick fabric or bulky fabric or lots of layers. And it can also be useful for keeping stripes matched in a garment when you're sewing. But you don't always have to go directly to this. A lot of times just the technique of flipping the edge of the fabric over your thumb will be enough. If you are someone who has previously had a death grip on their fabric when they are sewing, I really hope that this video has inspired you to try to train yourself out of it. Remember, feed your machine, don't force it. Let the machine do the work for you. It's designed to do that. You don't have to pull on the fabric. I will talk in another video soon about taut sewing techniques, which is occasionally needed, but not as often as you might think. So please, happy sewing, try to relax a little bit, and I'll see you next time.